Hello friends, it is definitely not day 16, but instead of skipping ahead where we missed a few days and making the video titles confusing, we're just going to pretend like today is day 16. Today we're going to be looking at Luke 20, 9 through 18. If you have not yet read this passage, pause the video and come back when you have. This is a deep and rich story about not taking for granted your status and properly respecting who you are and who you were meant to be. The vineyard workers were supposed to be caring for the vineyard until the owner came back. Much like we are supposed to be caring for the earth and making sure that human society is just and equitable as God is working to restore the whole thing. And so often we act against God's restoration efforts. We are actively destroying the planet. We have a simultaneous problem of obesity and starvation. This is not the well-ordered world that God intends. Which leads to the part of the passage that really struck us. Verse 18 says, "Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces, and when it falls on anyone, it will crush him." It seems odd at first. Jesus is going to break people to pieces and crush them? But when we got to talking and thinking, I can name a number of things that have been broken to pieces as a result of following Jesus. I used to be so judgmental towards poor people. I used to be so judgmental towards people who were struggling with mental health or who were addicted to something. My view of money has changed dramatically the more I try to follow Jesus. Being a good steward meant something very different to me 5 years ago than it does today. My political views have changed since following Jesus. My worldview has changed since following Jesus. Because of course it has. Following Jesus will change everything. It says that the disciples left everything and followed Jesus. Jesus at one point asked a rich man, "Give away all of your wealth and come follow me." Following Jesus will change everything. Especially the things that I think are most important. If following Jesus hasn't changed you, if following Jesus has only resulted in you showing up to worship once a week and praying before meals, if following Jesus only means to you that you get to go to heaven when you die, you probably aren't following Jesus. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about salvation. You are saved, but there's a difference between being saved and following Jesus. Following Jesus will change your life, and it won't just change it once. Your life will constantly be changing and upgrading to follow him a little bit closer with each new season. If Jesus hasn't changed you recently, if Jesus hasn't made you uncomfortable recently, then that's a problem. Because following Jesus is a lifelong process of becoming more and more like Jesus, of eventually becoming Jesus. What are some things in your life that have been broken to pieces because of your decision to follow Jesus? What has changed so dramatically because Jesus called you to view it differently? And more importantly, what has yet to be broken because of following Jesus? What has been left unsurrendered? What piece of your life are you still trying to build with your own building block? Because you're not going to be able to build your life on that building block and follow Jesus. Only Jesus is the true cornerstone. And based on 18 years of a lot of ups and downs following Jesus and a lot of trying to fit my own cornerstones alongside Jesus, Jesus is the only cornerstone worth building on. May God bless you and keep you. May the face of Jesus shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the fullness of the Spirit dwell within you and give you peace.